Today, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell you one reason why I am so sure that XRP is going to achieve great things. If you've been following me for a while, you probably know that I think XRP and other DLTs like XLM will be the foundation for a new global digital financial system. That's what this video is going to be about. We're going to look at globalization from a strange viewpoint and talk about how there is now a missing part of it, a globalized value or monetary system. That's exactly what these protocols will bring about and fix, which is why I think they will finally work. When I mention globalism, I think of bad things, yet there are good and bad things about anything in life. When you think about how travel has become more global, you know that we're all extremely happy that aircraft were invented. They let us travel all over the world and convey messages to others all over the world. Money still isn't completely in line with the technology we have now. And a protocol like XLM or XRP, which is what we're going to talk about in this video, is going to help us get to that point in the internet age where we can use value, assets, and money. That's why I think it will work in the end. We're moving toward a global world. XRP is fixing something that is missing from globalism. Chris Larsson, one of the original creators of Artabrio and Jeb McCaleb of Ripple XRP, is probably the ideal person to talk to us about this. Jeb was the one who really released the code to make the 100 billion XRP tokens available. It's clear that Chris is a visionary. He's one of the sharpest persons I've ever heard speak, and he definitely knows more about this whole area than anyone else. Space. I'm not here to support globalism, though. I'm not suggesting it's a good thing. I don't mean to say that it's a horrible thing. What I'm trying to say is that XRP has a clear goal and will help us get there. This will lead to the kind of one-world system we're moving toward, which isn't a one-world currency. It's a system where everything has value. We also looked at Peter Thiel and XRP's ideas for the future of money, but this is basically just about finishing globalism with XRP. That's one reason I'm so sure it's going to work. Chris Larsson, I want to dive over to you. We have a few videos of him talking about this, and they really make me feel like XRP is going to do what I think it's going to do. And, of course, this video is over 9 years old as of February 2017. So let's listen to the kind of opening that Chris Larsson gives about this technology's effect on the globe as a whole and why it's such a significant concern. And I think that's very crucial in the world we're headed into. So I really do think the future is bright. This is why we show this. But I think the Internet of Value is more than just a new method to do business. I think this is the last phase in globalization, and I think we're in a very intriguing time right now with globalization. The globe has never been more connected or dependent on each other as it is now. We all need to work together as one world. It's also never been more divided, and people have never been more disappointed with what globalization entails. And I believe that's fair. People should be disappointed with globalization, but not because it's a horrible notion. It's more than that. It's a work in progress. It's not finished. We prefer to compare globalization to fire because there is something missing. You can't have fire without fuel, oxygen, and heat. I think the same is true for globalization. You can't make globalization work until data, goods, and money can all function together. The truth is that we only have interoperability between two of those things. Goods and data can work together anywhere in the world. Not money. In a way, we have a fire without any fuel. It's like the thing that smolders. We know there's potential there, but it's not really living up to all the hype, and you could definitely say that it's actually making things a lot worse. It's like a globalized system that isn't quite finished. If you live in a developing market or a market that isn't getting enough attention, you can see all the data through your social media feeds. You can see all this information and what other people are doing with their lives, but you can't do anything with it since the money aspect doesn't work with other systems. There are a lot of places on Earth where you can view but not do anything, and that's a significant problem. The globe is becoming more and more global. Again, that has led to some excellent things. There are also terrible things. This is going to do a lot of things, especially when it comes to money. For example, it will bring billions of people into the modern world. It's going to make the world more linked and globalist in a big way. I believe that's the plan, and I believe that's one reason XRP will do so well. It truly fits that plan. It's making it possible for the world's financial institutions and value systems to be updated and brought into the internet age, so to speak, for value. And this is why we love this so much. And people say, oh well, it's taken a long time. It hasn't really done much since February 2017. But take a look at what Amazon accomplished after the dot-com boom. It took approximately the same amount of time, but then it grew to become one of the biggest corporations in the world and transformed the whole e-commerce game. And some kind of business and shopping. With a new technology, I believe XRP is on a very similar path. Let's keep going with what Chris has to say. So, we look at each other and say, how did we get here? Look at all these parts of globalization that are coming back. This is something that has only happened recently. For example, if you look at shipping, we're going back to the 1950s, before the shipping container. I know it seems like a long time ago for you folks, but things have changed quite quickly since the 1950s. Before the shipping container, shipping was a very wasteful activity. It took a lot of work. Things would come into port. They would need to be taken out of the box. They had to be put back together. This was a huge problem or point of friction for trade around the world. Then, in the 1950s, a very, very simple new technology came along called the shipping container. It altered the way commodities and shipping worked in a big manner. You had around a 700% rise in global trade during the next 20 years. Why is that? It's because goods may now work with each other all around the world. You could get from the ship to the train without having to touch anything. All of the world's ports may work together. You didn't need to make agreements with both sides to ship things. Shipping businesses could work together. So, once more, it transformed the way things work at their core. Things are now global. We all know what happened to the data.